Today I'm going to talk about 5 swings that you can do that can really improve your game, but without the ball. Stay tuned for more. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to warm up, and that's a really important aspect. And I would generally expect everybody to be sweating before they come onto the court, definitely to have swung a few times without hitting the ball before they even hit the ball. But this is a specific exercise, this is an isolation exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to warm up our forearm. So let's get straight into that.
So the point of this exercise is to isolate the movement that you will be doing when you're hitting the ball. Notice that I start with my racket at right angles to my forearm and my forearm at right angles to the wall. I'm trying to keep the racket parallel to the wall. Ideally, it shouldn't be touching. Now you can use 2 hands if you want to. I know you won't use 2 hands when you're hitting the ball, but it's always good to, do more exercises. You are not trying to move the racket as fast as you can. You are not trying to move it as much as you can. You're just trying to isolate the movement so that you've done it before you even start hitting the ball. Do about 50 of these.
So the first one after you've warmed up will be to isolate that movement, very similar to what we were doing just now with that warm up. But here we're going to isolate it. Now I'm going to do most of the demonstrations on the backhand. My last video was mostly on the forehand, so today will be mostly backhand. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep my wrist, what we say is cocked. We're not bending. We're going to cover that in another video soon. Keeping our wrist cocked, and I'm just going to make this movement. Notice that I'm trying to keep my forearm in the same place. I'm not suggesting this is exactly what we do when we swing and hit the ball. What I'm saying is that this motion will get your forearm stronger. Now I need you to be gripping very tightly. Again, not what I want you to do when you hit the ball, but this action reinforces the muscle movement when you work out. So that's what I'm doing. This is quite hard. I'm not trying to swing as fast as possible. You're likely to get injured if you do too many of those. I'm just trying to isolate the forearm movement. Now if I want to do the same on the forehand, it will be this. Notice I try to keep my wrist cocked the whole time, like almost 90 degrees. I'm not doing this. I am not bending the wrist. Here we go. And I'm doing it slowly, and I'm keeping my forearm as not still as possible, but I'm not swinging. I'm just isolating, which is actually the same as the warm-up movement. Okay, so this is number 1, forearm twists. I probably do about 20 of these, something like this. The harder you can grip for this exercise, the tighter you can make your forearm muscles, the better. That's number 1. Number 2. Now, number 2 is the simple idea of swinging as you would normally swing. But what we ideally would do is we would ideally have a racket here, and we would be swinging so that we are not touching the racket. I don't want you to be swinging like this at any point. I want the wrist cocked again. So I'm swinging like this, and I'm really tensing my muscles each time because I am reinforcing the movement. It's quite physically hard. I am not looking to swing quickly. No. I am looking to swing slowly so that I'm in control. It will reinforce your technique. If you're not sure where to hold the racket, experiment. Some people like it like this, other people like it like this, others will do it like this. practice something correctly, it's not going to work. So this is the second one. Number 3. It's like this, but it's faster. And it's less tense. And all I'm looking to do is become relaxed. Again, I am keeping the racket parallel when I make contact, or I imagine I make contact. I'm not looking to drop the racket. And you see lots of people do this, they do like this as if the arm is straight. No! Like this, because that's how you should be making contact with the ball. Straight arm and racket is not good. We need this. So, this is what I'm doing. I'm preparing. Notice this angle. It drops. And then I swing. I'll do it slowly for you. And the same with the forehand. Now I will do 50 of these. I will do 50 of these before I even hit the ball. Look at my head. It's not moving. Because that's what should be happening when you're making contact with the ball. This is a great warm-up exercise as well as wonderful improving your technique. Notice the hits. I'm twisting my hips. I'm not keeping still, and I'm not stepping. I'm just twisting. It's good for your torso. Again, notice that I'm not swinging as hard as I could. I'm probably swinging about 80%. That's what I'm doing. Okay, going to move the camera now for exercise number 4. Okay, so for swing number 4, I'm going to use some masking tape. Now, masking tape is just the sort of thing that you buy in the decorating shops or, you know, one of those sort of Poundlands or those kind of places. And it's very cheap, it's very light, it does no harm to the ball, so that's an important aspect. And what you do is you break some off, and then you sort of put a little tab in it. So you've got that. I'll come up close to the camera, hopefully you can see that. So I've got that, and then I'm going to stick it to the wall. Alright? The swing that I'm working on now, the swing that I'm working on now is the volley block. Okay, now I have another video on how to do that, but it's always good to do it with that ball because that emphasises that movement. So here, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to make contact here. Now you could do it anywhere in the court, but you'll probably be playing the shot fairly close to the ball. Now, if you wanted, you could make your tab much bigger. You can adjust this. I've got it quite close, about a ball's width, but you can adjust it. Now what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to keep my arm and my shoulder high, my wrist firm, my backswing short, and I'm looking to block. I am not looking to swing. Now, this is one of the problems with the bigger tabs, that once you hit it a few times, it falls back in anyway. So having a big one is not so important. Wrist firm, grip firm, but not squeezing. You're not doing that particular aspect anymore. And all I'm looking to do is block. Notice my head is not moving, because when I make contact with the ball, it shouldn't be moving. Notice my left hand. What's it doing? It's balancing me. We're going to be talking about that another time. Now the forehand, do the same. I'm not very good at this. I've done it in a while. Racket high. Shortish swing. Just hitting. Now I'm coming down slightly, but that's not so important. I mean, obviously I don't want you to be going up, and I certainly don't want you to be coming down. It's not a smash. We're just looking at blocking the ball. And that's all I'm doing. Notice that my racket is stopping. It's a very short swing. It's probably only this big. And swap. Probably do about 20 or 30 of these. Don't do too many. Then I have a big problem with my shoulder. So I wouldn't recommend doing hundreds and hundreds of these things. I mean, when you're hitting the ball, it is different. You're sort of not doing like 40 in one go. You're hitting and dropping your shoulder. So you must be careful. You mustn't overdo these exercises thinking that the more you do is better, because that's not true. Earlier on I talked about perfect practice makes perfect. If you cannot keep your technique good, clean and decisive, then you will be telling your body you will be practicing bag technique. Okay? So there is a limit on the number of times you should do these exercises. The moment that you notice your technique start to fail, stop. Do something else, come back. So now for the fifth one. And the fifth one is more or less the same. I have to admit it is very similar, but it is a different kind of shot. And you might have noticed this tape up here, because now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be returning services. So I will start a little bit back here, not too close, maybe just in the corner, hoping you can still see me with my wide angle. I'm coming up and I'm hitting back. Now this is the only one that I want you to actually do movement of your feet. The rest, you should be just working on the body. So here I am. My racket is very high. You'll notice that it's almost always above my head. And I'm just, look where it finishes. It finishes here. Now I am pretending, I am visualising that the ball is coming back down the wall. I am not visualising a cross ball, which is the slight change in angle of the racket face and maybe a change in the follow through. I'm thinking when the server comes and I make contact, bang, down the wall. I am not swinging. I'm blocking. I'm going to use the power that the server has put in the ball to generate the speed. I'm going to use my control to generate the accuracy. Again, this can be quite difficult on your arm, on your shoulder, because you don't normally hit 20 or 30 service returns. You'll hit one, then you'll play around it, and you'll go to the other side. And you can do this, now of course I'm facing the wrong way, so it's not so important, but imagine that I'm looking here, I'm waiting for the server comes, lock, lock. Now, let me just, a quick aside, hitting the racket means the ball will not break here. That breaks rackets, this doesn't. Okay? So we're going to do that for the last sort of the bonus one. So what you need to do is never hit the racket so that it actually stops. That's how you get cracks. I'm not looking at my racket there. That's how you get cracks and the vibration stays within the racket. If you make contact and it carries on, then of course over many months, eventually your racket's going to break. All rackets break, but that's going to break it faster. So when you're doing these, start further away from the ball than you are comfortable with. You'll notice that I'm not really making contact. There we go. If you want to, keep it shorter. If you want to, swap from forehand to backhand, although I prefer that you stay on one side, practice one, move back, practice one. Ideally, I'd have you have the tape on both sides and then swap. And if you're in like a group situation, that's how you'd be doing it. You'd be swapping sides, maybe 5 people each doing a different exercise. Alright, so let's summarise and give you a bonus exercise. Okay, so we are back at our page here. And we're going to do this idea again. Just a little bit of a tab. Backward from the ball. Now I take care with this one because unlike the other ones, which are like a little bit higher and harder to get to, this one is easy to do. So make sure it's flat. The wall can be your enemy or it can be your friend. Make friends with it. Make friends with it by being comfortable with it. You shouldn't fear the wall. You should love the wall. The wall can cause so many problems for your opponent. So many problems. The side wall are perhaps more important than the front wall. I know that sounds crazy because you hit the front wall, but the side wall is the thing that causes them to make mistakes. Of course, you have to hit the ball on the front wall, but you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just standing about here and I'm just swinging. Now what I'm trying to develop is I'm trying to develop the comfortableness that knows that I'm not going to smack my racket. That's what I'm trying to develop. Now, I don't want to make it sound like it's an excuse, but in the last 2 years, I've only been on court 3 times. So my comfortableness with the side wall is really not very good at the moment. So I would probably spend, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes as often as possible. And of course, whenever I did it too hard, I broke it. But you'll just say, okay, I don't need to take it anymore. Let's just take that off. Let's just put that to the ground and just start to swing. Now, obviously, it's better if you miss just slightly. But this is what we're trying to develop. That was a terrible one. That's a terrible one. I'm trying to develop the confidence. That's better. Now, if you need to, just do it a little slower. Oh, this is terrible. I'm doing a terrible example of a terrible demonstration of showing you how to be comfortable with the ball. But you understand what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make contact just in front of me, not too early, not too late. And if you make contact just here, you'll begin to feel more comfortable. So that's the bonus one. So there we go. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. It was longer than I expected, so I'm sorry about that. And maybe because many times people can't get to a court. I know that I can't. I can't come to a court more than once a week. My schedule just doesn't allow it. And maybe you're like that, so you need to do other things outside the court. Now these things, okay, not so much this one and not so much the ones with the high things, but the other ones, they can be done anywhere. They can be done in the garden, in the office, as long as you've got enough space. They can be done in the park. So I wanted to give you something to improve your technique without feeling that you have to go on court all the time, because that's not always possible. So that's why I made the video. Thank you for everybody who's been making comments and sending me kind messages. That's I'm very grateful for that. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the description, and I'll try and put like one of those boxes that people put. If I reach my goal, I haven't really decided what that is yet, but maybe if I reach $100 a month, I'll commit to making at least once a video once a week, maybe twice a week. But anyway, that's fine. Again, I don't know what to say now. Thanks for watching, and remember, do something every single day to improve your squash. See ya!